Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to Yentrok Gaming. Welcome to the first installment of Haunted Hotel. And this is the first game in the Haunted Hotel series. It's a big fish game. It is a hidden object game. You know that we love those. Guys, this game, it is the first one. It does not have great reviews. I'm just going to say it, okay? But we're going to play it anyway because I want to. Because it's the spooky season. It is Spooktober, okay? But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Let's put our name in here. And let's play. Let's pick myself and play. No, I don't want to play. Okay. Create options. Let me check my options real quick. All right, we got to turn this down. And then turn this down just a bit. Full screen, good. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. Let's play. It was a dark and stormy night when I was driving down a dark and winding road, unaware of the ill-fated adventure that was waiting for me. It began in the form of a blinding flash of light that assaulted my senses and sent me veering off the road and into a road sign. Stunned, I crawled from my car with heart racing in my ears and squinted in the dark to try to read the sign that I had plowed into. It said, Hotel, 1 mile. And off in the distance behind it, I could see the hotel's warm and inviting glow. The journey to reach it was short, but by the time I stood in the doorway, I was dripping like a soaked dog and feeling much the same. The hotel was very 50s in its design, but at the same time, it looked clean and new in an eerie way. Shrugging it off, I realized that no one was around. The porter or clerk I had hoped would assist me were nowhere to be seen. In fact, no one was around at all. Hey, is anybody here? I called out as I peered around the corner, hoping to see a head poke out from the back room, but no one answered. At a bit of a loss, I decided to check out the elevator to check the next floor up. Once the elevator stopped moving and opened its doors, I strolled down the hall and read the numbers on each door. As I passed room 2018, I was stopped short by the sound of a woman's scream. I pressed my ears to the door and tried to listen to the sounds inside, but there was nothing but silence. I pulled at the door handle and discovered that it was locked tight and against any jiggle or twist. Okay, concerned, I threw caution to the wind and kicked the door in to reveal the most bizarre room I had ever seen. When do I get to play? There was a lantern on the desk with its power turned all the way up, but that couldn't explain the amazing volume of light filling the room. It wasn't until my eyes had adjusted to the lighting that I could see that everything around me was covered in snow. Frost climbed the walls like ivy, and a fresh down of snow covered the floor and furniture. My first thought was that it had to be some special effect. My second thought was that it was time for me to leave quickly. That's one word. Leave quickly. I was going to do just that, but a painting hanging on the wall caught my eye and paralyzed me where I stood. It was a picture of a frozen sea, and something about it made the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end with fright. This feeling grew worse when, at that very moment, snow began to fall inside the room. The shock of the whole scene was overwhelming and would have kept me paralyzed if it hadn't been for a... When do I get to play? If it hadn't been for a burst of courage from within that overcame my fear and set me into a dead run out the door and back to the elevator. I pressed the button to return to the ground floor, expecting a welcome party of show producers and hotel staff to be waiting there. But you're just going to end it there? Okay. All right, this is Winter 6. Hidden items 5. This is very old school. I'm not sure when this game came out. I'll have to check that at the end and see. This clock counts down the time to the left to finish the level. Oh, this clock counts down the time left to finish the level. Look for bonuses to add time to your clock. Okay. Find all of the items on the list in each room before time runs out. It's not very easy on the eyes. This number indicates the total number of items you have to find in all of the rooms combined. Press this button if you need a hint to find an item. Each level begins with 5 hints. Bonus items do not count towards the total item count. However, they give bonuses like extra time or hints. These buttons will return you to the previous screens and or adjust options for the game. Hey. Kangaroo, leaf, bicycle, guitar, soccer ball, drum. Okay. Okay. Kangaroo and bicycle. Yay! Oh, I didn't have to find all of them. I just had to find 5 or 6. Okay. Fix the elevator to get to the next level. Okay. Play mini games in order to charge the fuse panel. When the fuse panel is charged, the go button will allow passage to the next floor. Catch as many energy balls as you can before the time runs out. What? Oh gosh. What? I won. I am okay. Use the mouse to click and drag the buttons. Uncross all the ropes. Cross ropes are colored red. Okay. That's easy enough. Okay, I did it. Why do you have carpet on the doors? It's so ugly. When the elevator doors opened, I bolted into the corridor and stopped abruptly as I viewed the space around me. I wasn't on the ground floor. The elevator had let me out somewhere totally different. Before I could get back inside, the elevator doors sealed and wouldn't open again no matter what I did to the buttons. So after a while, I had to give up and try to get my bearings and find another way out. All the door numbers here started with the number 3, so it seemed like I was on the 3rd floor, even though that didn't make any sense. I was positive that I had felt the elevator going down. The door to room 3027 was unlocked, so I pushed the door open and crept slowly inside, unsure of what to expect after that first room. There was the same furniture and arrangements in this room as there had been in the winter room, and even the same machinery and crates. Thankfully, this room was a lot lovelier in that it looked as though the plants placed around it had been brought in from a meadow that afternoon. As I looked around, the room began to brighten as if on a spring day, the very air coming alive with bees and seeds drifting in a gentle breeze. A breeze? Where was it coming from? Surely it was coming from a fan somewhere in this room. I had dedicated myself to trying to find this mystery fan when I discovered something else. A red cross painted on the wall. My attention was fixed on it, observing the hastily drawn nature that was evident in the 2 quick strokes that had made it. There was also another painting here, this time of a blooming orchard in the midday sun. And when I looked closer, I could see that the budding branches were growing up and out of the frame. Suddenly, I spotted something staring at me from the end of the hall with small glinting eyes. It took me a moment to realize it, but it was a cat. Yay! I crept toward it slowly to keep from scaring it away, but it seemed that just by moving towards, I prompted it to run off into another room. Desperate for the company of another living soul, I ran after the cat without thinking of where it could have been leading me. The room that the cat ran into was different from the previous 2 rooms that I had been in. It had twin beds set side by side with a small nightstand between them. Where was the cat? I didn't see it run out, so it had to be in there somewhere, but too well hidden for the likes of me. Turning my search to the halls. I walked all the way up the corridor and back to the elevator I had started from. Out of futility, I tried pressing the call button, and to my amazement, it worked. It rumbled back up to me, and the door sprang open, allowing me to get in and press the button for the ground floor again. It couldn't take me to the same floor twice, I was sure. As it transported me to my next destination, I replayed the events in my mind, wondering about the hotel's lack of staff and guests, and the oddities of the spring and winter rooms. What was going on? My thoughts didn't get very far before they were interrupted by the elevator's bell announcing it had arrived wherever it intended to abandon me next. Okay then. Oh, we're in the spring suite and the bridal suite. I'm gonna find 10 in this level. Spring. Clock, tennis ball, acorn, 2 teapots, triangle, cat. And the kitty cat. Okay. Clock, tennis ball, acorn. Acorn, 2 teapots, and a triangle. Should we find the... We still have to find 5 more, so we probably should just go find the 5 in the other room, right? Never mind. Now we only need to find... 4 in this room. Hello, lady. 2 birds. Oh, somebody broke something. 2 birds, red envelope, I love you. Guitar, 2 moons, and a butterfly. I love you. Oh. Time bonus. Hurrah. There's a bird. Guitar. Butterfly. One more thing. A bird, a moon, or a red envelope. There we go. Oh, I didn't even realize that the bonus items are like outlined. All right, we gotta charge this sucker up here. I don't know if you have to click on these or just like hover over them. I think you have to click on them. Okay, we're done. Okay. Good enough. Now what? Word machine. Capture the letters to spell the secret word. Touch the letters to spell this code word. When a letter is captured, it gets dark. This magnet is used to capture letters. Use the mouse to aim and the left button to fire. Spell the word before the clock runs out. What? What? Oh, jeez, this is stupid. I hate this. Alright, I need a H. Yeah, that's dumb. Alright. Back in the elevator. I can see why people don't like this game. Okay. The elevator doors opened to reveal a man standing on the other side. He was dressed in black with a large gold cross hanging around his neck. My first thought was that he was a priest, but after the events in the other rooms, I suspected that he was an actor. He didn't seem at all surprised to see me standing there, though I was certainly surprised to see him. Hello, he said calmly, staring directly into my eyes. Where am I asked, too amazed to think of anything else to say. Are you looking for your room? He asked as though he was completely ignoring my question. Yes, I suppose, I said, though I still wanted to leave. Shall we go? He asked. I'll take you to your room. Well, that was a pleasant turn of events. The priest didn't seem at all like a monster, so maybe I had just gotten a little lost. My mood was so improved in his company that by the time we had reached what was to be my room, I had gathered the courage to ask him about the rooms. However, before I could say a thing, he cut me off and said, "You should stay in your room to avoid any accidents." Accidents? I didn't like the sound of that. "What exactly do you mean?" I asked. I asked warily and observed that the stranger's face became very serious as he answered. "Time beyond eternity. Time comes, eternity remains. I beg you, stay in your room," he warned me again and added, "Besides, it's just for the night. Stay in your room." Something very strange was happening there that was giving me the distinct impression that this priest was trying not to frighten me before he left me to explore my room. It was very different from all the others in that there was a drum surrounded by candles in the center that looked as if it had been made with an animal hide drawn tightly over it. The whole setup made me think of a shaman. A persistent glimmer around the room brought my attention to the fact that knives were strewn all over the place. While all around me, the penetrating eyes of mounted animals stared down like they were waiting to attack. Slowly, I backed away towards the door, held by the fear that if I turned my back to those creatures, it would be for the last time. I must have been losing my mind. As I made my slow escape, things only got crazier when I was suddenly rocked back by a powerful gust of wind, even though the window was closed. Finally, having more of this adventure than I could handle, I lost my wits and slammed myself into the door a few times before I remembered that the door opened inwards. Tearing it open, I bolted into the hall with the unnatural gale slamming the door behind me. But I still wasn't alone. Though the door was shut, the wind seemed to pass through it and follow me out. It was as cold as an Arctic gale, raising goosebumps all the way up my arms as it harassed me. I was getting colder by the moment. Okay then, seashell, scrub brush, slippers, 2 pallets, footprint, keyholes, coin, 2 hats. So it's getting to be a little bit more then. Phone's ringing. Hello? Seashell, scrub brush, slippers, 2 pallets. I also need handcuffs for a bonus. Keyhole, 2 coins, and 2 hats. Scrub brush, slippers, pallet, footprint. Okay. Oh, here's the scrub brush. I was gonna say we'll go to the next room, but found it. Film reel, iron, magic potion, old phone, noose, 2 pearls, goblet, and mirror. Okay, then. That's not it. Well. Then I need like a handprint or a claw mark or whatever that is for the bonus. This thing here. And a key would be another bonus. I mean, that... not really a pearl, but... okay. Goblet and a mirror. Film reel, magic potion. Got tons of hints here. one more. Yeah, there wasn't no film roll there. What are you talking about? Alright, time to level up here. Oh, code lock. Watch the sequence as it plays. Then replay the sequence in order. Okay, puzzle. Place all the puzzle pieces on the faded out board to complete the image. Click on the pieces, right click to rotate. Move your mouse over the arrows at the top and bottom to view pieces. How do you put it down? Oh, you just have to find the right spot to put it down. Oh, this is a middle piece. I thought this was an edge piece. My bad. Goes right here. Look at it, right here. Okay, kitty kitty. Okay, that wasn't bad. Wasn't great, but wasn't bad. Knowing that the elevator wouldn't take me to the ground floor, but hoping to find a place with an exit, I ran to it and rode it up another level with the fleeting hope that I had escaped the dreadful gale. I was approaching the first door when a chill blasted me from behind, as if the Arctic gale had only been delayed while it waited for a lift to follow me up in. As it chased me down the hall, I read the room numbers and tried their handles only to be locked out again and again until I reached room number 4036. When the knob turned freely in my hand, I rushed inside, slammed the door behind me, and leaned against it until I was sure I was safe. The room I took shelter in appeared to be filled with film equipment. Cameras, records, and film reels were laying all around. There was also a pile of pictures laying in the table that piqued my interest. So I picked up the stack closest to me and sorted through it. They all seemed to be of the same person, a middle-aged man with a mustache that was dressed in classic 1950s attire. There were pictures of him having lunch, others of him talking to people, and photos of what seemed to be a mechanical drawing, but one photo caught my attention above the rest, a photo of him talking to the priest. I picked up another stack to look at, seeing that they were obviously taken with a pinhole camera hidden in different parts of the hotel. The guests in this room must have been following the man in these photos. I snooped around a bit more until I found an old tape recorder under the bed and a set of reel-to-reel tapes, and then the reel canister. With these items, I was able to set up the old tape player and listen to it. Work on the machine is almost done. Only a simulation of the weather condition remains. It's really weird, but the stone and statue work just fine. I made a breakthrough in science. Soon mankind will feel that which is eternity, develop insubordination for time, and deny all the laws of physics that have governed us for so long. A great era is awaiting us. Only weather is left. Judging by the point of view and remembering the mechanical drawings I saw in one of the photos, I deduced that the voice from the tape belonged to the man that was being followed. Okay, deep in thought about this, I stared at the table until a notebook that was almost completely hidden under a pile of papers caught my attention. There were only 2 pages in it that had been used at all. But what notes were present were very succinct. Respected physicist takes unconventional direction. Expulsion from the Physics Society. Not allowed to conferences. Scandal with experiments in Germany. Relations with unknown creditors for experiments. Pursued by the church. When I finished reading it, I stood up and was partially engulfed by the Arctic gale that I thought I escaped in the hall. Time to go. Yeah, I see why people don't like this game. That's alright. That's alright. I have 3 cameras, chest, 2 balls, wine glass, electric fan, fish, turtle. Two balls here. 2 soccer balls. Wine glass. Chest, wine glass, fish, turtle. Excuse me. Pardon me, please. Okay. There's a turtle. Fork, apple, pliers, phone, knife, glass, microphone. Cameras everywhere. Fork, apple, knife. Glass. Fork, apple, glass. I don't know what this is. Notebook. Okay. skull, saw, road cone, iron, yellow bottle, candelabra, goblets. Oh, these are not goblets. There's a goblet. Candelabra. Iron saw skull. Tire iron? What do I need? I need 3 more and I've got 2 hints. So I gotta find at least one thing here. Skull iron. Who's coughing in my ears? I hate that. Okay. 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 Ropes. This one I can do. I actually like that puzzle. That's a good one. This, I hate this one. Enjoy. A and G. Alright, I just need an A. Whoop, got it. Alright, up we go. By the time the elevator doors opened to a new floor with its familiar ding, I was feeling more confident that I could find some clues that would lead me to the exit. Determined to get out, I carried on with my search, starting with room 5045, which was the first room I found on that floor that wasn't locked. It was as casual as the other rooms, but seemed to be better equipped with home furnishings. There were lots of cabinets that were so stuffed full of papers that they were sticking out under the doors and must have spilled out over the tables a few times as well. I was flipping through those papers when I noticed the familiar symbol of a cross painted on one of the walls. This symbol seemed to be a fixture in every room, as if the residents were warding off evil spirits. Whatever the reason behind them, it was less absurd next to something else that I saw hanging from the wall. I ran across the room to get a closer look, certain that my eyes were playing tricks on me, but getting closer didn't change anything that I saw. There was a calendar on the wall dated to the year 1957. I felt dizzy. This had to be a trick of some kind. Perhaps it was some clever prank that someone had arranged all around this hotel. I ran up to the cupboards and began pulling cans of food off for the shelves and read their expiration dates. They all read 1957. No one was that clever. No one. The hotel looked like it was from the 50s, but it also looked brand new and couldn't have been abandoned that long ago. My mind wandered back to the accident that had brought me here and the flash of light that had caused it. At first I assumed that it had been a lightning strike that I had narrowly avoided, but no, it couldn't be. With a sick feeling in the pit of my stomach that wasn't the blame of the expired food, I searched the papers that had spilled over the desk in hope of discovering some flaw in the hoax. It was then that I came across a very disturbing piece of paper, one that listed the names of several guests, cross-referenced with their room number. 2018, 3027, 4036, and 5045. I had found each of those rooms unlocked and in disarray, which I just saw as a coincidence, but what if it wasn't? Suddenly the door opened, though no one was there that I could see, but I could feel it. Gale had returned. It smothered the room with its presence, its chill so cold that it bit at my exposed skin as it climbed up my body. I bolted out of the room and down the hall to the elevator, pressing at the call button again and again to no avail. Trapped, I turned around and looked back to the room. I had fled from and saw the gale in conflict with the warm air that filled the hall, creating a swirling, intangible border between the two. All right, star, billiard ball, 2 candles, tape reel, elephant, boomerang, scooter, barbecue fork. Okay, so we're back where we were. And there seems to be like a mustache brush or something for the hidden object. Somebody's breaking glass again. All right, star, candle, elephant. And somebody's making a lot of noise back there. Okay, so I need an elephant and a scroll. I say an elephant or a scroll, probably. Okay. Okay, crowbar. Gramophone. Lightning. Scarf. Ink pen. Face. That's a face. What? Pipe and bottle. Crowbar, gramophone. Cigar. Ink pen. Can't believe that doesn't count as a face. It's 100% a face. Goose? Where did the goose come from? Did I find a goose too? These are getting tougher. Definitely getting a little bit tougher. Okay. Well, I don't think I ever would have seen that there. Never, ever, ever. Lightning, face, and goose. Excuse me? Oh, that makes me angry. I found that one 4 times. I cannot believe you did not give me that. I clicked right on the face. All right. Eagle, boot print, fedora, map, basketball, trophy, 3 elephants. Wine and chess. It says chess, not chess piece. Okay. Doesn't look like a goose at all. All right, energy, here we go. All right, I don't know how to lose that. I don't know what the difference is here. Alright, going back down. Level 6. I ran into the nearest open room that I could find and slammed the door behind me, hoping it would stave off the terrible cold. It was a cozy room with a soft light, desk, cabinets, and a red cross painted on the wall just like the rooms I had seen before. Knowing what I had to do, I searched the contents of the desk and found a voice recorder just like the one in the photographer's room, as well as prescription glasses and a collection of notepads. They seemed promising at first, but after I sorted through them a bit, I found that there wasn't anything in them that was of use to me. I had to dig deeper. It was a black diary that finally seemed to have something interesting to it. This was the first entry. He occupies 4 rooms. What's going on in there? I must find out. I will search his room first, then I will search his room first, and then I will ask my old police fellows about this scientist. The strange thing is that nothing was awry for the first year that he lived here. Not until this captain arrived. Soon after, families started disappearing from the hotel. They didn't check out, I'm sure of it. They disappeared. To be certain, I had asked around and no one had seen the guests in question leaving the hotel with their bags or even saying goodbye. I suspect other people are in on this plot as well. A crazy old man from the north, the Siberian shaman. He went into his room once and didn't come out for over a month. I suspect the priest as well. He visits almost every room, but I thought people were meant to go to him and not the other way around. There is something really mysterious going on here. Even after 10 years of being out of the police force, my gut can still sense something is amiss. I'll finally visit the engineer today. I knew right away that this man had to have been a detective, and I suspected that he may have been working for the hotel as a private employee. And probing further, I noticed that after that entry, several pages seemed to have been torn out of the diary, leaving a large and shocking gap between the first entry and the next. It's madness. I may have no experience in his profession, but he must need some permission for his equipment, at least, much less his experiments. I don't know what's going on here, but I feel that it's wrong and must be stopped. I have discovered that the crazy shaman has connections to the engineer as well as the sea captain. There is definitely some mastermind behind these exploits, but who could it be? The engineer seems to be the most likely candidate. Today I will slip into the shaman's room and try to figure out what his role is in this. More pages were missing after that, leaving just one more entry that I could read. I understand everything now. He has undertaken this madness and it has already been done. That is why Stein lived here for a year. This is why the crucifixes have appeared all over the walls. There are definitely some dark forces at work here, and I fear that it may be the devil himself. Now I see their plan completely and have no thought of trying to stop them. Escaping the fate that claimed the others is all I can think about now. The story the diary told raised more questions than it answered. What madness had the engineer started, and what did the occult have to do with it? Why was the shaman here? I don't know. Vinyl record, guitar, ladybug, bread, flashlight, oil can, dinosaur, boots. You found a clue. Would you like to unravel this clue now? Yeah. Oh, that's it? Just this thing? Just one of these? Is this all? Alright, I guess I unraveled the clue. Kangaroo and watering can here. Vinyl record. Flashlight. Oil can. Oil can, dinosaur, boots. Okay. Behind the tree. Cake. Apple. Trumpet. I love you. It's right here. Jeez. The hitbox on this is ridiculous. Floor lamp. Flowers. Lion. Champagne. Two birds. Okay. Alright, need 8 items and I got 2 hints. So I gotta find at least 6 here. So we got popcorn. Hammer. Thermometer. Potato. Dice. Iron. Goblet. Only need one more. Let's just finish it off here. Toolbox. Perfect. I'll take it. Just the word machine this time, I guess. Gotta find the word event. All right. Level 7. I was startled out of my thoughts when the cat reappeared in the doorway, giving me a frightful start. A second later, the Arctic gale burst into the room, tossing all the papers around me into chaos. I had gotten all that I could from the room, so I immediately chose to drop everything and run with the Arctic gale, tormenting every step of my flight. I tried to run to the elevator, but the gale fought against me with so much force that it felt like trying to run underwater. I pressed forward with all my strength and reached for the call button as soon as I was within reach. The few moments that I had to wait for the doors to open felt as though they would stretch on forever and leave me to freeze where I stood. In the end, the doors opened and I was thrown inside and seemed safe enough when the doors closed. But what about the cat? I didn't want to leave it to the mercy of that terrifying force, but couldn't bring myself to open the doors on that floor again. I moved on to the next floor, whatever that was going to be, silently hoping that the cat would be all right. I still had the paper I had gotten from the manager's room and spent my time in the lift looking over the room numbers, desperate for some secret answer. There had to be some meaning to these rooms being chosen, and then I had it. The last two digits of each room number added up to 9. 2018, 3027, 4036, 5045. If I was right, then the next room number would be 6054. As soon as the elevator opened, I stepped out and confidently walked down the hall until I reached room 6054 without bothering with any other room. I took a deep breath and tried the knob, finding it to be unlocked just like the others, and let myself in. The whole room was covered with photographs, and more importantly, paintings that made it clear that an artist had occupied this room. The them of the artwork was very dark. They were all paintings of people that were suffering or shouting as a funnel of clouds seemed to engulf its victims. The funnel was brightly colored as if it carrying away its victims' cheerful realities. What if the artist had really seen this happening here? He could have been a witness. Suddenly, the pictures pinned to the wall sprang to life, violently trying to free themselves as the Arctic gale rushed around the room and knocked over the easel I had been looking at. I ran for the door again, noting a crucifix painted on the wall as I bolted for the elevator. All right. Tea kettle, electric fan, elephant, daisy, thermometer, a scrub brush, handheld fan, and a wine glass. And my secret object is a turtle. I hear the wind. Oh, he told me to be quiet. Tea kettle, electric fan. There's a turtle. Elephant, daisy, thermometer. Yeah, I don't like the ones that are hidden behind stuff. I don't even look like an elephant. I look like a gorilla. Umbrella. Trash can. Mask. Acorn. Kitty cat. Bread? Accordion and abacus. Alright, bottle. A weather vane. Mask cork. Lion knocker. Horseshoe. Shackle. A dagger. Okay. Still need a mask and a dagger. Okay. Alright, into the artist room. A button. Camera. Coins. Pink bow. Slippers. Newspaper. Alright. I'll charge this sucker up. We might lose this one. Didn't do very good on that one there. Still won though. Only 32%, but we won. Swap 2 tiles to form matches of 3 or more. Keep swapping until the progress bar is filled to the top. Okay. Oh gosh, I wasn't ready for that. Alright. We win. Much to my amazement, I spotted the priest in the hall. Hey, wait! I cried desperately, but he took off around a corner. By the time I got there and looked down that corridor, no one's there, as if he had just disappeared. As I was standing there and peering down the hall, the priest had run down. I felt a brush against my leg. The cat had made it back. I felt a burst of joy and relief as the cat meowed and rubbed against my ankles. Gramophone. Camera. Button. Scarf. Bread. Knife. An open book. Sundial. Boots. Button knife. Huh? Microphone. Just moving. Yes. Nope, gotta do another match 3 to get the bonus on this one. Oh, this one's difficult to look at. Alright. Don't know what that did, but it did something. I need a flashlight. Thermometer. Three phones. That is a lot of phones. An iron. Hard hat. Needle pliers. That's what this is. Apparently it's not happy with that. Or paper clip. Okay, flashlight or paper clips, one or the other. Oh, basement, eh? Tennis ball. Goblet. The eyeballs up here. A goblet. A saw. Two flashlights. Cannon. police hat. Shoes. Saw vinyl record and books. Okay. El Capitan. Another new one. An oar. Toy car. Pipe. Barrel. An oil lamp. Octopus map. Mop bucket. Okay. Snail. Oh, that was the last thing I had to find. Okay. All right. Okay. Back up we go. Next to the cat, there was a box tied shut with twine. Curious, I picked it up and opened it, discovering a page from the detective's diary inside. I looked down to thank the cat, but it had already vanished again. Knowing that I wasn't entirely safe in that open hallway, I took the page with me into the elevator and waited until the doors were closed before reading it. Examination of Stein's room has shown that he was definitely conducting some experiments. All his rooms are interconnected with his machines and devices in working parallel. I've also found some of his papers and understand the sense of all this. This man wants to control the weather. A mad meteorologist? In some absurd way, I believe he really controls the weather. He can create winter, summer, and fall whenever he wants inside those rooms. Normally, I would never believe that this is possible, but I walked in while it was raining in one of his rooms. I still don't understand why he made it work in the hotel or what the shaman's part is to this story. One of Stein's machines is connected with the shaman's room. I have to understand the system as a whole, so that's how the Arctic Gale was following me around. This mad scientist had created a weather machine. However, the growing tree outside of that painting was still a puzzle. I felt dizzy, as if my head would explode from absorbing all this information. There was so much to think about that my thoughts raced around in my head like a storm within myself. But one thought rose above the rest. I had to stop the machine. Perhaps if I could find and turn off this infernal machine, I would be able to find a way out. Okay then. Yes. Shaman. Okay. All right, cards. Newspaper. Plant. It's not a plant? Oh, that's a plant. I'm going to use a hint, so if I find a bonus object, it'll give me one here. Okay. Radio. Propeller. Jug. Picture frame. That's not a picture frame? Seriously? Whatever. Wristwatch. And a roller. Okay. Horse. Hat. Hamburger. A lion. Basketball. Rabbit. Noose. Alright, where's the lion? Oh. He's a ghost. Turtle. Padlock. Camera. Typewriter, shoe, pipe, mouse. All right, meat grinder and balloon. Okay. I could have been looking for both of those all day. All right, Binox handprint. Flashlight. Coin. Need a key, skull, orderly and bottle. Gotta find 4 things, and I've got 3 hints, so I gotta find at least 1 more on my own. Oh, iron cross, I didn't even see that. Alright. Okay. Use a couple hints. I didn't even see where that went. Somewhere over here. Key, maybe? Alright, 1 more. Orderly. Okay. Done. The sound on that really trips me up. The sound it makes, because it doesn't make the same sound as when it's showing you how to do it. It's confusing. All right, what now? I moved on to the 7th floor immediately, my calculations lending me to believe that the next room of importance would be room 7063. I kicked the door in and stared in amazement. This room reminded me of the inside of a ship, which meant this had to be the captain's room. The floor was littered with chests reminiscent of buried treasure, as well as various maritime souvenirs. Laying at me feet was a folded newspaper that I picked up and opened to the front page. The language was indecipherable to me. It seemed like it was from somewhere in the Pacific, perhaps Micronesia, but the pictures were clear enough to me. There was a photo of a stone artifact and some numbers below it that looked like a reward offer. At the bottom of the same article, there was a startling picture of a seafaring vessel, just like the one that was hanging on the wall, the captain's room. I thought the paper was a souvenir to a heist that the captain had pulled off involving that artifact, which could have been for some voodoo ritual. I looked back to the floor, wondering if there was any more to the newspaper I had picked up, and discovered that in the short time that had passed, a thick fog had covered the floor up to my shoes, up to my shins. I rushed out of the room in search of where the fog was coming from and felt my heart stop in a moment of terror. Blocking my passage to the elevator was the gale in the form of a monstrous cloud. As I stood there staring, the horrific fog seemed to become aware of me, and I knew in that moment that I wouldn't be able to run through it, so I ran away from it. The cloud seemed to fold over itself in ominous pursuit as I bolted around the corner and saw in a heartbeat that I was running towards a dead end. It seemed hopeless, but I wasn't going to let that defeat me. If I could just get into another room before the cloud saw me, I could buy the time I needed to find a way to sneak past it. As fast as I could, I tried each door, but time after time the doors were locked. When I got to the last door, I had no choice left but to try desperately to kick it in, and after a few tries, the door gave in to my will to live. Leaning against the door to keep it shut, I noticed that this room was rather dark, and I could still tell there was something different about it. I pulled the flashlight from my jacket and flicked it on to illuminate what I could of the room. The floor wasn't carpeted, and there seemed to be storage shelves here instead of desks, and were stocked with personal items like golf clubs, suitcases, and children's toys. As I surveyed the contents of the shelves, I spotted a hatch above one of them. Maybe it led to the next floor. I scrambled across the room and climbed up the shelves like a monkey. It was a tight squeeze to get through the hatch, and at an odd angle as well, but I made it through alive. As I reached down to close the hatch behind me, I found a torn piece of paper that was not unlike the pages of the detective's diary. I pocketed it quickly and pulled the hatch closed. I would have time later to read my new clue. Yeah, I see why people really didn't like this one. It's not bad as far as like the hidden objects. Some of the mini games are stupid. There's way too much reading in it, way too much reading. It would be much better with a voice actor or something along those lines, maybe a shorter story, maybe putting the story into the hidden object rooms as you're going, but yeah, it's way too much reading for a game. Okay, clock, rose, a boomerang. Actually, I usually like to use a hint right off the bat, so if I find my bonus items, it will possibly give me a hint instead of the time bonus. This is moving. Yep, let's do it. All right, I win. Boomerang, 2 teapots. Broom, gloves, hourglass. Boomerang, broom, and gloves. And a saw for the bonus object. Actually, let's use a hint. What are you pointing me at here? I never ever would have seen that. Ever. Okay. Alright. I need a broom. This? Okay. Okay then. Ink bottle. A voltmeter. Do not enter. Rope, spyglass, thermometer, candle, wrench, and propeller. Okay. Voltmeter, rope, thermometer. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna grab my phone. Arrow? Guess that's not an arrow, is it? It's a harpoon. Pipe. Cannon. Have to be a little cannon, right? You would think. This? Yep. Yepers. Arrow, chisel, corkscrew. Fish. Feather. Okay. Okay, hit for the feather. Here we go. A bear. Open book. Ice cream. Match. Frog. Frog. Ashtray. Coin, sword, cassette. Beer, ice cream, ashtray, cassette. Okay. I didn't find the bow tie. I was kind of looking for that too. Oh wait, here it is. See what that gives us. Extra time. It's our ice cream. And one more room. We gotta find 8 things. I've got 2 hints so far. Alright then, cannon, toy car, a ladybug, a head. I had to try. Padlock mushroom. Oh, that chest is wobbling. Yeah, I actually like the rope ones. That's so easy. Didn't need to be that easy. Padlock mushroom barrel funnel. I just gotta find one more. Let's use a hint. Mushroom. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Oh, I don't even have to charge myself up this time. Thank goodness. The new room I found myself in was hot. I peered through the window and it seemed like the summer sun was beating down on my weary body. The air in the room was so oppressive that it made it difficult to breathe while I took the time to read my new clue. After visiting the shaman, I think I understand the entire system. They used the artifact that the captain brought in the shaman's room. Somehow the shaman makes it work by receiving something from all 4 of the engineer machine at the same time, one for each season. Then this infernal machine starts to work and something begins to happen to our world. Apparently, they also needed people, preferably creative ones with stronger inner energy. I think that they made special arrangements with the hotel's manager to have their victims placed in special rooms. I don't know who I should and shouldn't trust. The priest may be... he will help... Okay. The priest may be he will help. What evil did they intend? What are they planning? The mad scientist was definitely the culprit. The scientist, the shaman, and the captain were using the hotel's guests as fuel. Suddenly, I had a very unpleasant thought. I too could be used as a battery for their infernal machine. The gale-turned-fogged entity could have been trying to devour me as an energy source. My only friend on this voyage was the priest. He must have been trying to ward off the evil they brought to this place. Somehow I had to get out or get him to help me do it. The searing heat made me start to swoon. I clearly couldn't take the heat anymore and would have to take my chances in the hallway. I peered out the door and down the hall to see that the fog was there, but had already passed my room. I was free and clear to run to the elevator. Run, Forrest! Lion head, clothespin, pocket watch, wristwatch, spider, coffee mill. This is moving. Better take care of that. I don't know why we have to do these random ones. Like, can we not just do these at the end? Does it take... I need a V. Oh, I barely made it. I don't get why the random ones are in the middle. Like, it doesn't really help me with the game. Right? Okay, I'm going to use a hint just so we can get... If we find these things, then it could possibly give us an extra hint. Rather than the time bonus. I think that's important to do. Okay. See, I just got my hint back. So let's use another one. Okay. So I need a coffee mill and a hammer. And whatever this is. It's a seashell. I mean, this is an axe, right? Okay. Heart. Shotgun. Gavel. 2 lions. Teapot and ceramic vase. A heart, teapot, and binoculars. Right. Hanger. Padlock. Looks like I need to find a gear. Or saw blade, maybe. Two watering cans. Sword. Camera. Dice. Teapot. Weather vane. Hanger. Oh, that's a boomerang. I thought the umbrella was over here. Oh, here it is. Voltmeter. Hanger and sword. Here's a hanger. That sword is bent funny. Stairs, we never been here before. It's like I need a caramel apple or something like that. Alright, chess. Chili pepper. Extinguisher. This is wobbly. Scissors, skull. Megaphone, bucket, fan, 4 hats. Okay, so I need chess and then whatever this is. May give me an extra hint if I can find it. This? Ping pong paddle? Alright. That's like a saw blade here. Still looking for chess, too. That gave me an extra hint. We'll use it. Oh. See, that looks like a bowl of popcorn. That doesn't look like chess at all. Not even a little bit. Okay. Padlock, cards, phone, hanger. I need 2 more. Let's use our hints to get those. Hanger. And cards. Good stuff. Uh-oh. Collect all my energy here. Don't understand the purpose of that. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. I was ready to run for the elevator, but I noticed that the room across from me was number 8072. I definitely had to go in and look for more clues, so I cautiously crept across the way and let myself in. It was a dark and brooding place, in the usual disarray that I had come to expect from this place, and the floor littered with alcohol bottles and books. In the center of the room there was a pair of glasses abandoned on the floor, and books, papers, and pens covered the desk, leading me to believe that a writer had been here. I went to the desk and found the last entry in the writer's notebook. It was grim, but I had grown to expect it. I tore the pages from the book and took it with me to the elevator so I could read it without fear of the fall catching me by surprise again. It's very unusual to be in this room because it's like being in another world. I see one world out of my window while I stand within another. At first I didn't understand and thought this was happening to just me, but now some people have disappeared. No, they didn't just disappear. I saw them and heard their screams. I saw them everywhere and nowhere, in darkness and in eternity. Who could guess that eternity is pitch black? Not so often I can see color spots, but not everyone will survive to see them too. It's not for everyone, this flight in eternity. Am I the chosen one, or is this my punishment for all the bad things I've ever done? It all began here that day in our hotel, starting with that terrible cold wind, that mist. Then the hotel began to shake, but there was no escape for me because the mist already had me in its grip, dragging me into darkness. There were screams and prayers ringing out all around me, but the most terrifying thing was that within the hotel, everything was still normal to those who had not been touched. People continued to walk the halls and the staff continued to work. But at the same time, I saw how people were flying into darkness unknown. I became part of this terrifying cold mist too. I follow it and call other people to join me in its depths. I can see myself laying in the center of my room, but I can't do anything. It was another terrible tale to confirm my suspicions of the evil plan that the scientist and his cohorts were carrying out in that place. Somehow, this place was used to travel through time. Thought I hadn't seen any of the culprits anywhere. Could it be that they were consumed by their own creation? Whatever had happened, I knew that I had to get out soon, or I would be trapped on a sinking ship. Get out soon! Alrighty then. A book. There's lots of books here. Feather, lion, screwdriver, necktie bells, lemon, flowers, floor lamp. Okay, so just a feather. Hammer. Flashlight. Game. Road sign. 3 phones. Boomerang. Soldering iron. Alarm clock. Bike. Dominoes is not a game? What? Tic-tac-toe? Okay. I shall allow it. Okay. In the basement. Spade. Painting. Spade. Iron. Two helmets. Final record. 2 keys. Mirror. Cell phone. He's blinking at me. Iron key tie meat grinder. Iron key tie meat grinder. A turtle. Alright, I'd I'd like to find one or the other here. Either the iron or the tie. I'm assuming it's a necktie. I assume. Alright, they don't exist. They're not real. Neither one of them. They're both fake. Fake clues. Told ya. Okay, that's good enough for here. Still gotta find a lot, though. If I can find whatever that is. I was gonna say it's a microscope, but it kind of looks like a statue. Yep. Okay, then. Hammer. Cards. Dumbbell. Toy house. Butterfly. Die. Wood box. Shotgun. Hammer, toy house, and glove. We find the glove. This glove? Yep. It's a mitt. Ooh, to the attic. Look at this place. Alright, plunger. Frame, sword, purse. Wheel, cheese. Oh, I thought that was the frame. Maybe I already found that. Maybe. Bow. Trophy. Oh, cheese. I thought I clicked that. Maybe that's where I got something else there. It's a little confusing. Okay. Sword, purse. Then whatever this is. Purse? Okay. I mean, I've got 4 hints, so it's not going to hurt me to use a hint here. And then we can check out the stock room. Apple. Whoa. Dice. All right. That's all the bonus items. So we can go plant. Cabbage is a plant. Never mind. Radio accordion. I wasn't expecting it to do that. Righto. Hourglass. Belt and plant. Alright, we got plenty of hints, so let's get this knocked out here. Bada boom. Oh boy. Word machine first, because I hate it. Shoot. I don't have enough time to do this. Oh, come on now. Did it. How stressful. I gotta do a puzzle. Yay! When the elevator doors opened to the 9th floor, I could see the fog waiting at the opposite end of the corridor, and I was struck by a wind so strong that I could hardly stand. I banged the elevator controls to try to close the door, but it was no use. It wasn't going anywhere. Left with no choice, I ran to the nearest door and let myself in. I was greeted by a breeze of a far fairer sort than the gale-turned fog. This one smelled of oak and had natural leaves dancing in the gentle gusts. A crack of thunder filled the air, and I realized that this was another one of the engineer's seasonal rooms. I didn't dare run back into the hall while the fog was out there, so I decided to try the door that connected that room to the next. As soon as I crossed the threshold into the adjoining room, the autumn breeze ended, and I was left alone in a dark room. Candles dotted the room, flickering and causing shadows to dance eerily on the walls, revealing and then hiding the many crucifixes that decorated the entire room. Handwritten notes were plastered all over the walls with passages from the Bible and verse numbers scrawled over them. Normally, I would be comfortable in a priest's room, but somehow this place felt like a bad omen. Hesitantly, I began looking around the room. Was it a sin to rifle through a priest's belongings? We shall find out. Alright. Thermometer. Umbrella. Hourglass. Trumpet, books, crowbar, fan. Footprint and camera. Okay, let me use a hint. Okay, there's the hourglass. Now we're looking for whatever this is. Thermometer, fan, footprint. Okay. I need this lamp. All right. Alright, thermometer and footprint. Pipe. Wrench. Fish. That's not a fish. What? That's not a pirate head. What? I can't believe that that counted as gun, because you got like gun. Pipe, wrench, fish. Glasses. Pirate's head. I can't believe that this does not count as a pirate's head. Bottle. Anchor. Then this book or whatever that is. There's the fish. Eyeballs. Okay. Whatever. Light bulb. All right, let me see if I can find either the pipe or the bottle. Okay. Pipe. I was close to getting that one before, just missed it. Oh no, I hate these with a passion. I do not like the dark ones at all. Teapot, acorn, pumpkin phone, banana, pipe, gramophone, spider. I really don't like these. Teapot, banana, pipe. Stamp. Knife. Let me see if I can get another hint here. I'll find the scissors real quick. Yikes. Don't do that. Scissors? Okay, good with that. Pipes over here. Good, get me out of here. Hourglass. Or dartboard. 2 anvils. Teddy bear. A bowling pin. Rifle. Creepy doll head. Toy car. 4 anvil lemon. And this little airplane here too. And this guy. Okay. Key. It's like a ball. Six hats. Gee golly jeepers. Okay. Key, binoculars, scroll, hammer, coin, doll, rabbit, horseshoe. Okay. I got 4 hints for this last room. Oh, jeez. 2 chisels. Statue. Do not enter. Phone, wrench, shoe belt, accordion, pot, keys. Okay, I'm off to an okay start at least. Okay, good enough. Good enough. Okay, word machine. Impossible. Seems like it. No. Alright, try it again. Why you gave me an O when I needed an I? I was waiting for the I. That's so dumb. He's so dumb. Suddenly, the door blew open and in swirled the fog, extinguishing the candles in an instant with a frozen gust as it poured more and more of itself inside like the sand of a giant hourglass. I backed up against the wall, certain that this would be my doom. Then the earth began to shake. It started as just a shudder, but within moments the desk and other pieces of furniture began to shake violently and the walls groaned. Crosses fell to the floor and candles were knocked over on their shelves while I myself trembled from within and pressed myself harder against the wall. I believed beyond a doubt for a moment that I was going to meet a violent end, but then I heard the voice of something comforting and good. The cat was mewing at my feet. It brushed at my ankles until it knew it had my attention, then bolted out of the room. I followed without hesitation, leaping through the tail of the fog that was pouring into the room. I was covered with frost when I came out of the other side and felt frostbitten everywhere that the mist had touched my skin, but I didn't let this slow me down as I followed the cat. It stopped by a door and gave me a knowing look as if telling me to go inside, but the room was locked. Again, I looked to the cat for guidance, but it mewed again, and I knew that I absolutely had to get inside. I backed up across the hallway and took a running start for the door and slammed into it with my shoulder, forcing it open with a loud crack. Alright, it's a biggin'. Okay. Clock. Manga. Again, I don't know why we do these, but we do. I like the rope ones though. Those are actually fun to do. Okie dokie. Leaf. Vinyl record. Megaphone. Flashlight. Thermometer. Or phone. Okay. I'm finding this all kind of confusing. Okay. Microscope. And a clock. Okay. Good. Good, good. Alright, desk lamp. I don't remember where that voltmeter thingy was. Stamp, match. Thermometer, oil can. This is a matchbook. You're not gonna give me a match and a whole thing of matchbook here? What? That's awful. Altimeter. Nope. Voltmeter and match. Okay. We save that for later. 2 paint tubes. Okay. Paint tube. Lips. Hand. Rat. Yuck. Feather. Button. Dice. Bear. Umbrella. Pencil, scrub brush, feather. Well. I should be able to find these scissors too. Right? These scissors aren't usually that hard to find. Oh. Okay. Lantern. Okay. Weather vane. Ruler. Yes. Bottle, barbecue fork. Lamp, jump chair. What? Alright, so I just need a lamp. That's not a lamp. It's not. I refuse. Refuse to accept it. Dartboard. Turtle. Elephant. 2 umbrellas. That out of the way. There's the turtle. Hanger? Keys. Ice bag. Elephant ice bag. Letter. Letter could be anything. Could be an actual letter. It could be a letter. In an envelope, like mail. Photos. 1 more umbrella. This thing? It's a tiny one. Elephant. Ice bag. Okay, we'll use a hint for the letter. Makes sense. And spring. Trash can. I was looking at this. I don't know what that could even possibly be, but I think I found it. So we good. We good. Stretchy kitty. All right, there we go. Eagle. Tennis ball. Triangle. A gramophone. Service bell. Video camera. Scissors. Plunger felt boot. Oh, and sword. Missed that one before. What do we got here? 3, and we've got 3 hints. Meh. Okay. Here we go. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, this one I've done terribly on. Not even close. I hate this one. This one's terrible. Okay, wasn't aiming for that, but alright. It just got right in my way. I do not like this one. There was a staircase behind that door. The floor above me had been cut away and the stairs rose up to a room on the next floor. I ran up the stairs and tried to turn the handle, but it was held shut by a security lock. I pressed the enter button, hoping that the lock was not set, but then something strange happened. It played a sequence of lights and sounds. At the bottom of the stairs, I could feel the cold growing stronger as the fog moved back out into the hall, and I knew that it wouldn't be long before it came for me again, so I turned my attention back to the code and concentrated on re-entering the exact sequence that it had played when I touched it. Success! The lock on the door made a very satisfying click and allowed me to push it open to get myself and the cat into what appeared to be the attic. All around the room, particles of light flashed from clouds that swirled amongst the rafters. There was a terrible howl that I thought came from the mighty wind circling the room, but the more I listened, the clearer the howl became until I realized I was hearing screams. Horrified, I looked to the center of the room as the lightning flashed brightly, revealing a figure standing there. The priest. The priest. Alright. Umbrella. Okay. So now we got some room to kind of look around here. Plant. Milk bottle. Butterfly. Key. Coat hanger. Guitar. Phone. Key stamp. Wooden box. Glove. Small statue. All right. Okay, then. I just gotta find a circle. That could be anything. Alright, it was that thing. This is dominoes. Okay. Okay. Paperclip, thermometer. This is not a dart. What? What? Bowling pin. Pliers, barbell. Razor. Sword. It's not a dart. That is what you call irritating. That's bad gameplay, my friend. Bad gameplay. Oh, jeez. Ah. Missed. Seriously? Come on, man. What's that? It was an empty one. That was weird. Surprised he gave me that one, but I'll take it. All right. Tin can, lips. Two hats. footprint. Scissors. I didn't find the scissors last time either. Right here in front of my face. Yikes, that's not good. Blackboard. Flower spider. Apple. Coins. Clock umbrella. Need to find a flower and a rose. Okay, so I see the clock up here. Let me see if I can get this flower, though. Maybe get an extra hint. I'm not going to waste too much time on it. This? Okay, I'll take it. And the clock. Alright, let's see here. Pistol. There's another box. Pistol, movie clap, butterfly. Teddy bear. Ice bag broom. I don't know what this is. Plate? Porthole? Alright. Movie clap. Butterfly. Ice bag. Okay. On to the next. Rat. Oh, that's not a rat. That's apparently not a rat. Alright, let's look here. Police hat. Scroll. Need a rat. A map. Bell. Iron. Photo camera, video camera. Both. Saw. Two helmets. Horseshoe. Rat, bat, pyramid, microphone. Good enough. Good enough. Alright, matches, purse, mirror, dartboard, trophy, frame, pig, wheel, mirror, 8-ball, trumpet, envelope. Okay, there's a couple of hints here. Wouldn't see that one. Probably should have got that one. We're just trying to keep things moving. Okay, I just crashed, so hopefully it saved. Okay, so it didn't save and it crashed me pretty much. All right. We'll try this again though. Puzzle. All right, that one's done. Tire pump, stars, axe, teapot, basket, oil can, turtle. Got 4 hints. I gotta find 5 things. Okay, so I should have enough hints to finish it off if I need to. Tire pump, stars, axe. Let's just use them. Okay, so we're done. Okay, good. I do not understand the purpose of this one. All right, next. Is that it? It looks like we might be done. The priest was a silhouette in the center of the room, only discernible when the lightning lit up his cold, empty face. His eyes were as dark as black holes and just as likely to consume everything around them. Above the screams that filled the air, I could hear the cat meowing from a desolate corner of the room, as if calling to me. Again, I gave it the trust it deserved after all it had already done to help me and push my way through the terrible dark wind to the other side of the room. There was a small opening of some sort in the wall that the cat and I crawled into. What? Though I didn't know where it led to, it didn't take more than a moment before I was painstakingly aware that the door the cat had led me through was a garbage chute. It was a long and perilous fall to take. You'd be dead. But a large pile of refuse cushioned my fall outside. Once free of the hotel, I jumped to my feet and started running to my car where I had left it by the road sign I had hit. The cat was hot on my heels, determined not to be left behind. Together, we jumped inside. The end. As my feline friend and I sped away, I looked into my rearview mirror and was so astonished by what I saw that I skidded to a halt and jumped out of my vehicle to stare. That's smart. Lightning was lighting up the sky for miles around, allowing me to see that the hotel had vanished. The next morning, I decided to check for records about the hotel at the local library. There was a newspaper article that covered accusations of occult activities against the priest, ending in his excommunication from the church. The article also went on to say that the hotel had been demolished rather quickly. Quick indeed. Now it's the end. All right. There we go. Look at me. I almost got a record. Nice. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for Haunted Hotel. It was okay. It wasn't as bad as some of the people said. I don't like the dark levels. And then on top of that, there was just too much reading in between the levels. Like, it just needed to be factored into the gameplay a little bit more. It needed to be a little bit smoother. Again, I don't know how old this game is. Let me check real quick. Let me see if I can find that out. 2016. 2016 this one came out, so not too bad for 2016. This is probably one of the first ones that Big Fish put out, so not bad. And I know that they've definitely improved a lot over the years, so we will continue on with the Haunted Hotel series. I definitely love these hidden object games. And of course, it is Spooktober, so we will be playing a lot more spooky games coming up very soon as well. Anyhow, guys, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much for hanging around. I appreciate it. You guys are the absolute best. If you enjoyed it, do me a favor, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. Either way, I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!